Alright, so this is my take two of this video. I guess when I made it the first time, my voice sounded robotic again. So this is all the work that I showed from the first video. So in this video, we're converting from a percent and we're converting it to a fraction and a decimal, as opposed to in the last video where we had a fraction or a decimal and we converted it to a percent. And I'll walk you through my steps here. So when we have a percent, if you want to get it to a fraction, you can always just put it over 100. And I had 17 and a half over 100. But when you have a fraction, you don't usually want to have a decimal in it, in your answer. So this kind of goes back to when we were dealing with rational numbers at the beginning of the year. But to just move a decimal place over, you can multiply it by a power of 10. So multiplying it by 10 will move it over one spot. Or if I multiplied it by 100, that would move it over two spots, and so on and so forth. So, but what you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. So I multiplied both the numerator and the denominator by 10 to move this decimal over one. And I had 175 over and 10, or 100 times 10 is 1,000. And this fraction technically would work, but I want to reduce my fraction in simplest form, and I recognize that 25 goes into both of these numbers. So I divided the top and bottom by 25, and 175 divided by 25 is 7, and 1,000 divided by 25 is 40. And so you get 7/40ths as your reduced answer. If you would have noticed 5 went into both of these numbers, you could have done that, and it would have just added another step, but you would have still got to your answer that you're looking for. And then with a decimal, if you have a percent, it's even less work. If you remember back to our simple and compound interest unit, in the formula, like say for simple interest, it was the interest earned equals the principal times the rate times the time. And the rate was usually given to you as a percent, like in this case 17.5%. But the formula needed us to convert it to a decimal. And we always just moved it two places to the left because we learned that to convert it to a decimal, you just divide by 100. And dividing by 100 does the opposite of multiplying. Instead of moving the decimal to the right, it's going to move it to the left. And I divided by 100, which is 10 to the second power with two zeros, so that's going to move it two places to the left. And my answer for converting 17.5% to a decimal is 0.175 or 175 thousandths.